Now, let's talk about Hungary and the unique position that it currently enjoys in Europe. Obviously, it is a core member of the EU. It has the friendliest relations with Russia, and Viktor Orbán is a close ally of President Trump, as the two leaders underscored today. The US President indicating he's still opening to meeting Vladimir Putin in Budapest. You'll remember, of course, that earlier proposed summit on Ukraine was shelved. At the White House today, Viktor Orbán suggested that the United States and Hungary are more realistic than the rest of Europe about Ukraine's ability to defeat Russia.
Victor feels we're going to get that war ended in the not too distant future. Victor, do you want to talk about that?
Well, I'm strongly convinced. So the question is whether we Westerners are unified or not. The problem is that the president has huge peace efforts, which are just splendid and very positive for the European continent and all the peoples of Europe. But at the same time, we are not unified because Brussels and the Europeans has a different approach to the war. So the only pro-peace government is the United States government and the small Hungary in Europe anyway.
There you have it. It couldn't be clearer. Joining me now, Balázs Orbán, no relation, political director for Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, but joins me now from Washington. That is an interesting dilemma for the European Union. Beautifully put by your Prime Minister, that you do see things differently than the rest of Brussels. You can be a bridge, but those in Europe say you can also be an obstacle.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me. So for Hungary, the war in Ukraine is not a hypothetical or not even a geopolitical issue. It's an everyday reality which harms us as well. It's a neighboring country, so it's a clear and present danger for Hungary. So our biggest and most important priority is to close the war. And now there is a new president of the United States who is in the peace camp and who is doing everything what he can do to convince the Ukrainians and the Russians to stop fighting. This is something which is highly appreciated by the Hungarian people. I think it is highly appreciated by other European nations as well. But unfortunately, the governments, European governments, see things in a different way.
If we take that different perspective, do you think, for instance, Hungary tonight will get that exemption? Because yes, it's very difficult. I've spoken, of course, on many occasions to the foreign minister. It's very difficult for Hungary to easily replace the Russian oil, both for technical and geographical reasons.
Yes, that's also a reality for us. We are a landlocked country. We have one major pipeline and a secondary pipeline in the oil issue. And if we lose the major pipeline, the secondary one cannot be enough now. So we are very thankful to President Trump that he promised that we get the exemption on oil and gas. That created a situation where Hungary can maintain its energy sovereignty and independence and energy security as well.
So on this core question of Hungary's ability to facilitate, if you will, at the same time, I mean, I guess whenever I've spoken to other European leaders, they always make the same thing about Hungary, that they can't be seen to allow Russia to have substantial territorial gains by force. And whatever, yes, you get a ceasefire that stops, but where that ceasefire line holds and what happens with the eastern part and the Donbass region, the Europeans say you don't agree with your EU colleagues.
Well, the problem is that there are no real European talks on that issue. So the President of the United States was the first one who was talking about a possibility of peace, and he restored the communication channels with the Russians. So now there are direct American-Russian talks. But what is Europe doing? Actually, they deny that Europeans should also talk to Russians. So what you just mentioned is actually Europeans are talking about issues among each other, but it has no impact, and they are just act like agents of the Ukrainians, which brings us nothing closer to the negotiations and to the potential peace agreement. This would be Hungary's top priority, and this is why we have a disagreement. It's a completely different strategy based on different goals.
Mr. Orbán, it's a very busy day, and I'm grateful for you giving us your time tonight and wish you a safe trip back to Budapest. Thank you, sir, for joining us.